Today, we're taking a look at some of my favorite female-fronted ladies, punk rock. Check it. If there's anything I've learned throughout the years while dipping my toe in the diverse pond of music, and punk rock especially, is that it's not just a boys' game like it used to be. There's some serious kick-ass ladies out there. There were so many of them in punk and pop punk that I wrote down that I'm definitely going to have to break this up into a two-parter. So this is part one. And without further ado, let's check it out. Blondie Dale is an Australian-born guitarist, songwriter, and vocalist who I was first introduced to while listening to the band The Distillers. Dale began playing music in her adolescence and moved to LA at the age of 18, where she started the band. The group is hard-hitting and gritty, and songs like Drain the Blood and City of Angels are two of my personal favorites. The group released 3 studio albums before disbanding in 2006, and Blondie began another project called The Spinnerettes, releasing an album in 2009. The Distillers recently announced in 2018 that they'd be back at it again, touring and recording a new record. I'm pretty stoked for this. Amy Allen, better known as Amy Interrupter, is a singer-songwriter from Los Angeles, California. Everyone knows her these days as the lead singer from the band The Interrupters. Amy was signed to Elektra Records in 2002 by being discovered by Randy Jackson. Yes, the same Randy Jackson from American Idol. Her debut album, I Start a Revolution If I Can Get Up in the Morning, was never released due to the label being absorbed by Atlantic Records. She shifted over to punk. Always punk-rooted, she helped write songs for some punk artists, including Unwritten Law, in their 2005 album, Here's to the Morning, and co-wrote the band's single, Save Me. Yeah, that one. She's also dipped her toe in the water of soundtracks, known for her vocals on the song Cooties, in the 2007 movie Hairspray. In 2011, the Interrupters were formed. Along with brothers Kevin, Justin, and Jesse, the band got an early start touring with Hellcat Records bands like Rancid and The Transplants, and have recently made commercial success appearing on the Jimmy Kimmel Live show and hitting up national tours such as the Punk and Drublic Festival and the Vans Warped Tour. Avril Lavigne was pretty much every single girl that I knew in high school. When the pop-punk scene exploded in 2002-2003, every girl emulated Avril Lavigne. From tank tops and ties to eyeliner and high tops, the young pop-punkette seemed to be everywhere in the early 2000s. A lot of people don't know this, but by age 15, she was already on stage with Shania Twain. And by 16, signed a 2-album contract with Arista Records, worth more than $2 million. By 2002, her solo album dropped, which emphasized the skate punk and pop punk scene, and was referred to by critics as the pop punk queen. Being an entrepreneur of sorts, in 2008, she dropped her clothing line, Abby Dawn, and a perfume line in 2009. Staying within the rock scene, she's been married twice, once to Derek Whibley of Sum 41, and also to Chad Kroeger of Nickelback. Angela Trimble, better known as Debbie Harry, is a model, singer, songwriter, and actress, known best as the lead singer of the new wave punk rock band Blondie. Her recordings with the band reached #1 in the United States on the Billboard charts, as well as the United Kingdom, on many occasions spreading throughout the 1970s and the 1980s. Little known fact, Blondie's song Rapture is considered one of the first rap songs to chart at #1 in the United States. Her acting career includes over 60 films and TV programs, as well as achieving success as a solo artist before reforming Blondie back in the 1990s. She still dishes out tunes and films to this day, including the 2018 documentary Bad Reputation, which follows the career of fellow female singer Joan Jett. Speaking of Joan Jett, Joan Jett is best known as being the frontwoman of her band Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, and for early founding and performing in the band The Runaways, which released the hit song Cherry Bomb. The Blackhearts version of I Love Rock and Roll was #1 on Billboard's Top 100 for 7 weeks in 1982. At some point in your life, you've had to come across a Joan Jett song, whether it be Bad Reputation, Crimson Clover, Do You Want to Touch Me, oh yeah, Light of Day, I Hate Myself for Loving You, and Dirty Deeds, not the AC/DC one. She still continues this day to tour, and I actually saw her on the Vans Warped Tour 3-4 years ago, something like that, and still finds time to do film, documentaries, and all that stuff, dropping in on cameos like Steven Universe, The Muppets, and Ordinary World. Kelly Ogden of the Dolly Rots. Kelly is lead singer bassist of the band the Dolly Rots, who also stands alongside by her husband, Louis Cabasas, who plays guitar and backing vocals in the band. They've released 6 studio albums and are currently under their own record label, Arrested Youth Records. They've played well over 1,000 shows throughout their career and have released albums under Panic Button, which is part of Lookout Records, Joan Jett Blackheart Records, which is Joan Jett's label, as well as their own label, Arrested Youth. Their most recent album, Whiplash Splash, debuted at number 13 on the Billboard Heatseeker charts, which follows the number 7 position of their 2014 song LP Barefoot and Pregnant. Along with the Dolly Rots, Kelly also has a duet project with lead singer-guitarist Jarrett Reddick of Bowling for Soup. The duo recently released an album called Jarrett and Kelly Sitting in a Tree, which is out now. While Gwen Stefani may be her own leading lady these days, her roots are saturated in punk, being the co-founder and lead vocalist of the band No Doubt, whose singles include Just a Girl and Don't Speak from their 1995 breakthrough studio album, Tragic Kingdom, as well as Hey Baby and It's My Life off of their later albums. During No Doubt's hiatus, Gwen Stefani embarked on a solo pop career in 2004, releasing her debut studio album, Love, Angel, Music, Baby, which was inspired by pop music from the 80s. In 2006, she released her second studio album, The Sweet Escape, which gave us the singles Wind It Up and The Sweet Escape. Her third studio album, This Is What the Truth Feels Like, was the first album to hit Billboard status. In this time, she's also won 3 Grammys and has received an American Music Award, a Brit Award, World Music Award, and 2 Billboard Music Awards. Laura Jane Grace. Laura is best known as the founder, lead singer, guitarist, songwriter for the band Against Me. She also fronts the band Laura Jane Grace and the Devouring Mothers, a solo project she started in 2016. Grace is notable, as far as I can remember, for being one of the first highly visible punk rock musicians to come out as transgender in May of 2012. At age 17, Grace dropped out of high school, began writing songs, and started her band Against Me. She moved to Gainesville, Florida at the age of 18 and started playing Against Me songs either by herself acoustically or with friend Kevin Mahone, playing on either drums or pickle buckets. Her early songs drew influence from acoustic protest music, covering topics such as class struggles. While Against Me has now went on to hit commercial status, their earlier days were played dive bars, laundromats, pretty much anywhere anyone would listen to them, even if the audience was few or zero. It just goes to show that everyone starts somewhere. Kim Deal of the Pixies. The bassist and co-vocalist of alternative rock band The Pixies was the start of Kim's musical performance world, before branching out and starting her own band The Breeders in 1989. Deal joined the Pixies in 1986 and would adopt the stage name Mrs. John Murphy for the albums Come On Pilgrim and Surfer Rosa. After the Doolittle record, Pixies went on a hiatus, where she then formed The Breeders. Following the band's debut album Pod, her identical twin sister, Kelly, joined the band to replace the departing member. The Pixies were back on, but then shortly back off again, and broke up in 1993, where Deal returned her focus on the band The Breeders, who released a platinum-selling record, Last Splash, in 1993, which went on to great success that year with the hit single Cannonball. Last but not least, Courtney Love, a notable figure in punk and grunge. Courtney's career has spanned over 4 decades, thus far. She rose to prominence as being the lead singer/guitarist of the alt-rock band Hole, which formed in 1989. The band drew public attention with its uninhibited live performances, confrontational lyrics, as well as her highly publicized personal life following her marriage to Nirvana frontman Kurt Cobain. Courtney continued working as an actress in the early 2000s, appearing in big-budget pictures such as Man on the Moon with Jim Carrey and Trapped in 2002, before releasing her first solo studio album, America's Sweetheart, in 2004. Love has had a notable impact on female-fronted, alternative, and punk acts and performers. Hey guys, now that we're at the end of the video, thank you for commenting, and subscribing. You can check out daily blogs on thepoppunkdad.com, which features daily reviews and interviews from awesome bands. Head on over to the Pop Punk Dad official merch shop where you can buy cool things like that right there. It helps the channel out and lets me know that you love me. I have a weekly podcast called the Pop Punk Dadcast, which is on SoundCloud and iTunes now. Please subscribe. While you're at it, cruise around and check out other content on this channel. You can check out all my social medias, my IG, my FB, and my Twitter, at the Pop Punk Dad. And above all else, guys, stay pop punk. Later.